Aldi is killing your favorite products, not discontinuing, killing, without warning. You walk in Wednesday, the shelf where your product sat for 3 years, gone. Something cheaper in its place. No email, no explanation. Aldi erased it and hoped you wouldn't notice. In 2026, they cut 11 products with cult followings. Products selling out. Products that make a trip worth it. Today, I'm exposing what Aldi killed and why. Stick around. Number 1 proves they don't care how much you love something. 11. Specially selected Belgian chocolate thins. January 2026. A woman in Connecticut named Elaine walked into her local Aldi looking for Belgian chocolate thins, the ultra-thin squares of dark milk and orange chocolate she'd been buying monthly for 3 years. She bought them as gifts, served them when guests came over, kept a box in her desk drawer at work. The shelf was empty, not sold out empty, reorganized. A different product occupied the space. Elaine asked an employee. The employee shrugged. "We don't carry those anymore." No announcement, no clearance sale, no explanation. Aldi simply stopped ordering them and never said a word. These weren't ordinary chocolates. At $3.49 to $3.99, they competed with Ghirardelli at $7 to $9 and Lindt Thins at $8 to $12. Blind taste tests consistently rated them equal or better. They were sophisticated European chocolate at impulse buy pricing, the kind of product that makes people evangelize for Aldi. The speculation that circulated online, rising cocoa prices from Belgium, supply chain disruption, margins that no longer met corporate targets. None of it was confirmed because Aldi said nothing. One customer posted what many felt. "I bought these monthly for 3 years. They were my go-to fancy chocolate that didn't cost a fortune. Now they're gone, and Aldi won't even tell us why. I feel like I'm being ghosted by a grocery store." She wasn't wrong. That's exactly what was happening, and it was about to happen 10 more times. 10. Earth-grown vegan meatballs February. Aldi discontinued earth-grown vegan meatballs, a product that was selling out every Wednesday by early afternoon. Let that sink in. They killed a product that they couldn't keep on the shelf. These were plant-based meatballs made with pea protein and soy, properly seasoned with Italian herbs, with a texture that convinced meat eaters they were eating the real thing. At $3.99 for 10 ounces, they cost half what Beyond Meat or Impossible meatballs cost at $6 to $8. The quality was equal or better. Less processed tasting, better seasoning, more convincing bite. The vegan and flexitarian communities had adopted these as a staple. Food bloggers praised them. Reddit threads called them the best value in plant-based protein. Meal prep accounts featured them weekly. Stores couldn't maintain inventory. People called ahead asking when trucks arrived. Some shoppers bought 4 or 5 bags per trip and froze them because they knew the shelf would be empty by Thursday. Then Aldi killed them in the middle of a national trend toward plant-based eating. While every competitor was expanding vegan options, while demand was growing, not shrinking. Official reason: product rotation to make room for new items. Translation: they wanted the shelf space for something else. The something else turned out to be products that moved slower. The shelf space Aldi needed ended up holding inventory that sat there while customers asked where the meatballs went. A vegan food blogger who'd recommended these to her 40,000 followers posted, "You don't discontinue products that sell out every week. You expand production. You capitalize on demand. You thank the retail gods that you have a product people are fighting over." Aldi did the opposite of all of that. This wasn't a business decision. This was business malpractice. For budget-conscious families trying to incorporate plant-based meals, the meatballs were affordable protein. Losing them meant either paying double for name brands or spending time and money making homemade alternatives. Neither option replaced what Aldi had offered. 9. Friendly Farms lactose-free milk. This one moved from frustrating to cruel. Aldi discontinued Friendly Farms lactose-free milk, an affordable necessity for the estimated 36 million lactose-intolerant Americans. Regular lactose-free milk costs $4.99 to $6.49 per gallon. Aldi sold it for $3.49 to $3.99. 40 to 50% cheaper for an identical product. A mother in Georgia named Tamara posted what became a widely shared response. "I'm lactose intolerant. I buy 2 gallons of milk per week for my family. At Aldi, that costs $7. At Kroger, buying Lactaid, it costs $12. That's $5 per week, $260 per year. Aldi discontinuing this product cost me real money I don't have." Tamara wasn't unusual. Thousands of households depended on this product. For people who need lactose-free milk, not prefer it, need it, Aldi was democratizing access to something that other retailers treated as a premium category. Aldi's response? A boilerplate statement about product selection decisions based on multiple factors, which tells you nothing by design. The discontinuation forced customers into a binary: pay significantly more elsewhere, or stop drinking milk. For families with lactose-intolerant children, neither option is acceptable. If you're already angry, subscribe, because this list gets worse. 8. Clancy's pub-style tortilla chips with lime. The lime chip apocalypse. These chips had a cult following that bordered on obsessive. Restaurant-style tortilla chips. Thick, crunchy, bold bold lime flavor that was somehow perfect. Not the artificial citric acid punch of mass-market lime chips. Not overpowering. A genuine, balanced lime seasoning that made every chip interesting without overwhelming the corn flavor. Addictive in the way that makes you eat half the bag before you realize what's happened. At $1.79 for 13 ounces versus Tostitos. Hint of lime at $3.49 to $3.99. They were cheaper, crunchier, and, according to the overwhelming consensus of people who ate both, better. The thickness was ideal for dipping without breaking. The crunch held up in salsa. The lime flavor persisted through heavy guacamole. Facebook groups dedicated to Aldi products discussed these chips weekly. People bought 6 to 8 bags per trip, not because they were hoarding, but because they ate through them that fast. Cookout season meant buying by the case. They weren't just popular, they were a phenomenon within Aldi's customer community. Then Aldi discontinued them, replaced them with different chip flavors. None matched the lime, none generated the same enthusiasm. The replacement chips sat on shelves while customers stood in front of them looking confused and disappointed. A petition launched within days. Bring back Aldi lime chips gathered thousands of signatures. Comments ranged from heartbroken to furious. These are the best chips I've ever had at any price. I'm genuinely devastated. I've been buying these for 5 years. Nothing on the market compares. Aldi's response to the petition? Nothing. Complete contemptuous silence. Thousands of loyal customers organized, signed, pleaded, and Aldi couldn't be bothered to issue a single sentence of acknowledgement. One frustrated customer asked the question nobody at corporate could answer. These sold out constantly. Every Aldi I visited, the lime chips were gone by Friday. They were clearly profitable. Why would you discontinue your best-selling chip flavor? What possible spreadsheet justification exists for killing a product your customers are begging you to keep? The answer? Almost certainly, a supplier offered a cheaper alternative, or Aldi found a higher margin replacement. Corporate took the deal. Customers didn't get a vote. They didn't even get an explanation. 7. Millville Protein Granola. Aldi discontinued Millville Protein Granola, and the fitness community lost an affordable staple they'd built routines around. 12 grams of protein per serving. Minimal added sugar. Actually tasted good, which, for high-protein granola, is almost unheard of. At $3.49 for 12 ounces, it cost half what Bare Naked Protein or Kind Protein granola charge. A fitness instructor in Denver, who'd recommended it to every client for 3 years, described the impact. Affordable, high protein, tastes good. That's a unicorn in the nutrition world. Now I'm supposed to tell people on tight budgets to spend $8 on Bare Naked? That's not realistic. Aldi discontinuing this hurts real people trying to eat healthy without going broke. The replacement granola Aldi stock had 6 grams of protein, half as much. It wasn't a substitute. It was a downgrade disguised as a replacement. Customers flooded Aldi's social media demanding the protein granola return. Comments, messages, tagged posts, all met with Aldi's signature response: nothing. A nutritionist framed the broader damage. High-protein breakfast options that are also affordable barely exist. Aldi filled that gap. Removing it took away an accessible option for people managing weight, diabetes, or simply trying to eat better without spending premium prices. 6. Simply Nature Organic Pasta Sauce. This is where the discontinuations crossed a line from frustrating to insulting, because Aldi didn't just remove a product, they replaced it with something objectively worse and charged more for it. That's not rotation, that's a downgrade disguised as business as usual. Simply Nature Organic Marinara was exceptional. Organic Italian tomatoes. Olive oil as the primary fat, not seed oil, not canola, olive oil. Simple ingredient list with nothing you couldn't pronounce. No added sugars, no preservatives. Flavor that rivaled Rao's, the gold standard of jarred pasta sauce, at a third of the price. $2.99 versus $8.99 to $10.99. Food bloggers ranked it among the best jarred sauces available at any price point. Blind taste tests showed customers preferred it to brands costing 3 times more. It was the best-selling organic sauce in the store and one of the strongest arguments for Aldi's value proposition. Then, Aldi replaced it. The new sauce used canola oil instead of olive oil. Added sugar appeared on the ingredient list. The flavor was flatter, more processed, less like something made in an Italian kitchen, and more like something formulated in a lab. And it cost $3.49. 50 cents more for a demonstrably inferior product. One longtime customer captured the betrayal precisely. I chose Aldi over Whole Foods because products like this marinara proved I didn't need to pay more for quality. Now Aldi is selling me worse sauce at a higher price. They've undermined their own value proposition. If I'm going to accept less for more, I might as well go somewhere with better selection. That's the sound of a customer rethinking their loyalty. One by one, decision by decision, Aldi was giving people reasons to leave. 5. Deutsche Küche. Soft pretzels, authentic German-style soft pretzels. Imported from Germany. Chewy exterior with that distinctive dark alkaline washed crust. Soft interior. Coarse salt on top. The kind of pretzel you get at a Munich train station bakery at 6 in the morning. Dense, satisfying, unmistakably German. At $2.49 for 4 large pretzels, they cost less than what Auntie Anne's charges for a single pretzel at the mall. You could feed a family of 4 pretzels for what one person pays at a pretzel chain. And the quality was superior. Actual German manufacturing, the Traditional methods versus American fast food approximation. A German-American woman in Milwaukee posted what became a widely shared reaction. I moved to the US 15 years ago. These pretzels were the closest thing to home I could find without flying to Frankfurt. They weren't perfect. Nothing compares to a Munich bakery. But at $2.49, they were a connection to my culture that I could afford every week. Now that connection is gone, and Aldi, a German company, is the one who took it away. That last detail stunned. Aldi is German. Deutsche Küche means German kitchen. The product line existed specifically to bring authentic German food to American stores. Discontinuing it was Aldi erasing part of its own heritage. 4. Specially selected brioche bread, the brioche betrayal. French-style enriched bread with real butter and eggs worked into the dough. Soft, pillowy texture with a golden crust. Slightly sweet, the kind of bread that transforms ordinary French toast into something that feels like a restaurant experience. $2.99 per loaf versus $5 to $6 for Pepperidge Farm and $7 to $9 at specialty bakeries. Food bloggers ranked it the best store-bought brioche in America. Multiple blind comparisons. Consistent winner, it sold out regularly. Customers called ahead to reserve loaves, and people froze multiple loaves when they found them in stock. A caterer in Austin named Sarah described the professional impact. I used Aldi Brioche for brunch catering, made French toast that clients raved about, and paid premium prices for. The bread was my secret. Incredible quality at a price that kept my margins healthy. Now, I either pay $6 per loaf from Pepperidge Farm and cut my margins in half, or make brioche from scratch and add 3 hours to every event prep. This discontinuation directly hurt my livelihood. Aldi's stated reason? Supplier discontinuation. They lost the supplier and either couldn't or wouldn't invest the effort to find a replacement producing comparable quality. But brioche wasn't a niche product. It was mainstream. Proven demand, regular sellouts, documented customer loyalty. Finding a new supplier should have been treated as urgent. Instead, Aldi shrugged and moved on, leaving customers and small business owners like Sarah to absorb the consequences of a sourcing failure that wasn't their problem. 3. Barissimo cold brew coffee. Smooth, low-acid cold brew concentrate made with quality beans using a proper cold brew process. Steeped for hours, not rushed, resulting in clean, rich flavor with none of the bitterness that hot brewed coffee develops. At $3.99 for 32 ounces versus $7 to $9 for Stumptown, La Colombe, or Chameleon, it was the most affordable quality cold brew in American retail. And it wasn't cheap tasting, it was genuinely good coffee that happened to be at Aldi. A barista in Portland tasted it professionally and posted his assessment. I've been in specialty coffee for 12 years. I know what good cold brew tastes like. Aldi's was legitimately excellent. Quality beans, proper extraction time, clean flavor profile with chocolate notes, and no sourness. At $4, it was the best coffee value in America. This wasn't discount coffee, this was real coffee at a discount price. There's a critical difference. It sold out constantly. Summer shelves were empty by Wednesday afternoon. Fall and winter demand was substantial. Cold brew consumption doesn't stop when the temperature drops. People drink it year-round. The product had proven 12-month demand. Then Aldi discontinued it in September, right before fall, coffee season, when people maintained their summer cold brew habits into cooler months. Aldi's classification, seasonal item. But it wasn't seasonal. It sold every month of the year. Calling it seasonal was a convenient corporate fiction that allowed headquarters to exit a category without admitting they were abandoning proven demand. The real cost wasn't just losing a product. The discontinuation pushed customers directly to Trader Joe's and Target, both of which still carry cold brew concentrate. Those customers didn't just buy cold brew at the new store, they bought $50 to $80 of other groceries while they were there. Aldi didn't just lose a $4 sale, they lost entire shopping trips. 2. Specially selected, aged reserve white cheddar. This cheese was a legend, not an exaggeration. A genuine legend in the Aldi community and in the broader food world. 12 plus months of proper aging. Sharp, complex flavor that developed in layers. An initial bite of intense sharpness followed by nutty undertones, a slight sweetness, and a complex finish that lingered. Crystalline calcium lactate formations throughout the block that crunched when you bit into them. The unmistakable signature of properly aged cheddar that's been given time to develop character. The kind of cheese that specialty shops in Brooklyn or San Francisco charge $15 to $20 per pound for. The kind you find on curated cheese boards at upscale restaurants. The kind that cheese enthusiasts fly to Vermont or Wisconsin to buy directly from aging caves. Aldi sold it for $2.95 per 7-ounce block, about $6.74 per pound, for cheese that competed on flavor, texture, and complexity with $12 to $18 artisan cheddars. Food bloggers wrote entire posts about this single product. Reddit cheese communities celebrated it as proof that the supposed connection between price and quality in food is largely manufactured by marketing. Cheese enthusiasts bought 5 and 6 blocks at a time, not because they were greedy, but because they understood value when they tasted it, and they knew Aldi's supply was unpredictable. It was considered one of the single best values in all of American grocery retail. Not best cheese value, best value, period. Then, Aldi replaced it with younger, milder cheddar at the same price point. The 12 months of aging were gone. The crystals were gone. The sharp, nutty depth that made people close their eyes on the first bite was gone. What remained was ordinary, unremarkable cheddar wearing a premium label. Official explanation: product portfolio refresh. Corporate language for, we found a cheaper product to manufacture, assumed customers would accept the substitution, and couldn't be bothered to explain why. Customers noticed immediately. The aged cheddar served a specific community, people who appreciated exceptional cheese but couldn't afford cheese shop pricing. For them, there was no replacement at Aldi. There was no replacement anywhere at that price point. The product occupied a unique position in the market that nothing else filled. At $2.95, it was irreplaceable, and Aldi treated it as interchangeable. That gap in understanding between what the product meant to customers and what it represented on a spreadsheet defines everything wrong with Aldi's discontinuation decisions in 2026. 1. Countryside Creamery Irish Butter. This was the one. The product that made Aldi famous. The item that food bloggers built entire audiences around. The proof, the single best proof in American grocery retail that Aldi's business model worked. Irish butter from grass-fed cows. 82 to 84% butter fat versus 80% in standard American butter. Deep yellow color from natural beta-carotene in the grass. Rich, complex, unmistakably European flavor that was different from American butter the way real Parmesan is different from the green can. Creamy texture that spread differently, melted differently, baked differently than anything else in the dairy case. At $2.99 to $3.49 for 8 ounces, it cost half what Kerrygold costs at $5 to $6. Independent lab tests confirmed what every customer already knew. The butterfat content was identical, the grass-fed sourcing was identical, the manufacturing methods were comparable. You were paying $3 for what the most famous butter brand in America charges $6 for. Same product, half the price. Every single week. This butter didn't just sell well, it converted people. One purchase was all it took. Someone would try it, often on the recommendation of a friend, a coworker, a food blogger. Taste the difference from American butter, check the price tag, and undergo a transformation. They became Aldi evangelists. They told everyone. They posted about it online. They brought it to potlucks and watched people's faces change on the first bite. The Irish butter was responsible for more new Aldi customers than any advertising campaign the company ever ran. It was the most powerful word-of-mouth tool in discount grocery retail. Every conversation about Aldi eventually came back to, have you tried their Irish butter? Then Aldi killed it. Removed from shelves without announcement, without statement, without acknowledgement. What eventually leaked through industry channels, the Irish dairy supplier raised prices. The increase was reportedly modest, somewhere in the range of 15 to 20 cents per unit. Aldi refused to pay. Rather than absorb slightly lower margins on their single most important product, the product that drove store traffic, built brand loyalty, and converted skeptics into lifetime customers, they discontinued it entirely over what amounted to pennies per unit. A retail analyst who studies grocery strategy described the decision as the worst product discontinuation in American grocery retail in the last decade. Flagship products aren't evaluated by individual unit margins. They're evaluated by total store impact. That butter brought people through the door. Those people filled carts worth $60 to $80. The butter might break even or lose a few cents per unit. It doesn't matter because the customer it attracts spends vastly more on higher margin items. Discontinuing it over a margin dispute is like a restaurant removing its most popular dish because the food cost went up 2%. You're optimizing a spreadsheet while destroying a brand. The financial hit for loyal buyers, roughly $156 annually for anyone who bought butter weekly and had to switch to Kerrygold at double the price. But the money was secondary. The real damage was to trust. Aldi spent years teaching customers a radical idea. Premium quality doesn't require premium prices. The Irish butter was the best, most tangible, most delicious proof of that principle. Removing it didn't just eliminate a product, it contradicted a promise that Aldi had spent decades making. One food journalist wrote what amounted to an obituary. Aldi discontinuing Irish butter is like Netflix canceling its most watched show over a licensing fee. Sure, there are spreadsheet reasons, but those reasons ignore what made people love you in the first place. Every customer who switched to Kerrygold is now shopping at a store that carries Kerrygold and buying the rest of their groceries there too. This decision will haunt Aldi for years. She may be right, because the pattern across all 11 discontinuations tells a story that Aldi's corporate offices should find alarming. Every product on this list had documented demand. Several were selling out weekly. All were beloved by specific, vocal, loyal customer segments. All were discontinued without meaningful communication, no advance warning, no explanation, no acknowledgement of the community's response. Aldi's silence is the most damning pattern of all. Not one of these 11 discontinuations came with a real explanation. Not one generated a public response from the company. Petitions were ignored. Social media was ignored. Customers were treated as passive consumers rather than the community that built Aldi's brand. The message Aldi is sending, whether they intend to or not, is this: don't get attached. Don't build your shopping habits around our products. Don't tell your friends about something you love here because we might kill it tomorrow without telling you why. And don't bother asking, we won't answer. That's a dangerous message for a company whose entire brand was built on customer loyalty, word of mouth, and the idea that you can trust Aldi to deliver quality at an honest price. 11 times in 1 year, they proved that trust has limits. And those limits are set by a margin spreadsheet in a corporate office that's never tasted the chocolate thins, the lime chips, or the Irish butter. If this list made you angry or helped you understand what Aldi quietly destroyed in 2026, hit subscribe. We're tracking every major retail discontinuation so you know what's disappearing, why, and what you can do about it. I'll see you in the next one.